Hello, this is Lord Sycamore. Welcome to the Understory Podcast. Today's story under the song is for Come to Me, track 3 from my debut album, Child Coming Home, with lyrics from Matthew 11, 28 through 30, World English Bible.
Hi, I'm Carrie Joy Wiley, and I'm here on Lord Sycamore's podcast to talk about the song Come to Me. Nate, can you tell us a little bit about the development of the song? It happened over years, and what's the story there?
The story is really one that's been a blessing to me. So first off, when I was working on an EP back in 2016 or so, I first just started working at the small Christian school where you and I both work, and fresh off my first year there, I wanted to sort of get back into the arts and went to this thing called the Lamplighter Guild. And the one thing that really came out of that for me was recognizing, yes, I want to make music for God. And so I started making an EP the summer afterwards, and it was mainly scripture settings. However, this was not one of the scripture settings. Until somewhere near the end of the process, I'm sitting doing my devotions on my parents' couch one day, and I have the Bible there, and this doesn't normally happen to me, and I don't ever know how much stock to put in it, but I just hear in my head, go to the piano while I'm reading through Matthew 11. Okay, okay, I like the piano, so I go to the piano with the Bible, and I first take this melody and the chords that go with it. I've got them, I've recorded it. I start notating it pretty soon after, and I start thinking, maybe this needs to go on the EP. I thought I was done, but there was more work to do apparently.
So how did this go from being a solo voice and piano to a choral arrangement?
Yeah, well, one of the things that happened when I came to work at the school, initially as an elementary school teacher, was I also had this cherry on top of being a choir director, which was never something that I planned to do in any of my training or anything. It was completely new. But by my second year there, I had started to be a little more I don't know, artistic about the way I tried to put the programs together. And I took this arrangement with the piano part and taught it to my choir, which at that point was just 5 high school guys, a great group to have. And we put it into this story of the concert. But fast forward to the summer of, I guess, would that be 2018, this past year? 2019. Oh, this was, wow, time flies.
2019, when we were in Maine.
When we were in Maine, yeah, the family goes to Maine. And I realized I was there with all of these great singers, and I'd started to recognize that my role was not just to be one voice singing out, and my following Jesus was not like this solitary thing that I could do on my own. I was really struck by that and seeing how we were able to love and support each other as a family on that vacation. And at the same time, I also recognized this piece, which I think is going to go on this album that I think I'm supposed to do for some reason. It's not really working as just an individual voice singing out with a piano accompaniment. That's not how any of us come to Jesus. It's not just us talking to ourselves, it's other people talking to us. So I started to get a picture of the singer, the character in the album, having people come around him and speak these words to him. And so the reason why there had to be an a cappella arrangement was so that musically could sort of come into the story.
And that's so beautiful, because what we do at school every day is say these exact words. Sometimes we say it through math, and sometimes we say it through history, and sometimes we say it through language. But all the things that we say are, come to Jesus, come to Jesus. come to Jesus, bring this to Jesus too.
And work for Jesus
Right,
too. Yeah.
right. It's a great privilege to be able to say that every day. And so then to be able to participate in this song, which encapsulates, I guess, a mission of each of our lives.
Yeah.
You know, we have come to Jesus, but he doesn't just say, okay, you're good now. He says, okay, now go tell others to come too. It's never a solitary thing. It always happens in the context of relationship between God and us, but also the horizontal relationships of our lives.
With each other.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What is the truth that you would really like to get across in this song?
The beauty of working with Scripture is that it's in there for anybody to see, and it's not up to my artistic dressing to make it true. So that's something I've been very, very grateful for. But ultimately, the singer and me and all of us are in this state originally of being opposed to God, of being sinful. It says in Romans 3:23, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, so we're separated from him. But when Jesus comes to us and says, come to me, he's offering us the way to come back to God. And ultimately, what I realized as I thought more through what he was saying, and as I lived with other people through the work of serving him, was that as hard as it is, as much of a burden as it is to carry his yoke, there's also rest, and there's the hope of home. And really a lot of the story of Child Coming Home started to develop out of that realization in the song, and from the words that Jesus is calling us to come home when he's calling us to submit to him and become his servants and followers.
And the home being the idea of a place of safety and where we're welcomed and we're loved no matter what, but we're also called to be our best selves. Is that what you mean?
Absolutely. And more than that, a place where all of those things are true for every part of us. Family gatherings we had some of it in Maine, where you're sitting there and your body feels good and your mind feels good and your heart feels open, and that moment is home. It's not defined by the place, it's defined by the people, and it's defined by the quality of your relationship with them. And so ultimately what Jesus is calling us to is the future where all of that goodness is going to be true for every part of us all at once, our bodies, minds, spirits redeemed.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
And so I wanted to thank you for lending your voice to this.
Thank you.
I know the recording process was a little bit funny in the old school building before we moved. The heat of the summer, turning off the fans,
yeah.
to not get that in the recording, and sweating our way through each take. So yeah, I'm grateful for your part in that and for everybody else's too.
Well, thank you for including me. It was an amazing process, and you were the first person who asked me to sing, just for the fun of it, and outside my birth family.
Sure.
And it was encouraging, and it reminded me, oh, right, I do have a voice. Not only do I have a voice to sing, but I have a place that God put me in this world, which is so amazing as it combines with the whole message of come to me and going home, but on the way, bring as many people as you can.
Amen.
Thank you.
Yeah. And for all of our listeners, you'll probably never meet Carrie, but she's a wonderful person who is constantly using her voice to encourage and build people up and call them to be their best selves in Jesus by God's grace.
Amen.
So
Amen.
Just thank you again for being here, Carrie, and for interviewing me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please consider purchasing my music or donating to this work through my Patreon. Either way, I hope this was a gift to you and that you were encouraged by it. Have a good day, and God bless.